Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So just a quick update. Today started orientation week of medical school. So classes have not officially started, but we have a long list of mandatory meetings that we have to attend for all the information that we need to get us set up and to prepare us to start medical school. So in the meantime, while I collect all of that information, and I'm hoping to video this week so that I can share orientation week with you guys. But I wanted to share some interview tips, things that I've learned over time, things that have helped me go from being a possible candidate to a new hire, because I was in a career field before I decided to pursue medical school. And it's really important that you know how to interview for medical school, because not only do you have to interview to get into medical school, you also have to interview for residency, and then you have to interview again to get a job once you complete your residency. So I wanted to share 5 really important tips that I don't think people put enough emphasis on, and it helped me, so I'm hoping it can help you guys. So tip number 1, relax. I know it's easier said than done, but it's really important that you relax. You don't want to take this interview lightly, but the people that are conducting the interview, they're clearly in need of something that you have to offer. So be confident in what you have to offer and what you can bring to the table. It's just a meeting. They just want to make sure that the person they meet matches the person that they met on paper. And so it's generally a meeting. And so you want to look at it as more of a meeting than an interrogation. Tip number 2. Always call and confirm. I think that this will really set you apart from the others. It lets them know that you are looking forward to the interview and that you are looking forward to meeting them, and that you're really interested in the position. Also, there can always be some type of discrepancy where, you may have thought that they originally said this time, they may have thought something else. And so just to clear all that up, it's really important that you call them the day before, or even email if you can't get to anyone by phone, just to say, hey, are we still good for this time? And is this the correct address that I need to be at for my interview? Third most important tip. Make sure that you're really comfortable answering all types of questions, especially the uncomfortable ones, the ones that are usually hard for people to answer. So, for example, tell me about yourself. It sounds really easy until you're put on the spot and someone asks you that question. You want to be direct, you want to be efficient, and you want to present it in a way that they understand and they get a full scope of who you are. This does not mean repeat your full resume, but maybe to add some details that you couldn't put on your resume, or maybe to make some emphasis on some of the accomplishments that you made in your career thus far. What I did personally to help me with those questions, I took about 15 to 20 questions that people typically ask on an interview, and I wrote answers to those questions, not long, but thought out answers, detailed answers, about a paragraph long for each. And what I did was I read over those questions and those answers as many times as I was able to, until I became comfortable and my answer came out more naturally. Because sometimes it's hard to think of everything that you want to say on the spot. And again, another example of that is, what are your weaknesses? Tell me, what are your weaknesses? You want to make sure that you're not presenting them in a way that it's like you're not capable of doing things, but you want to let them know that you are aware of it, and you've also taken steps to turn that weakness into a strength. So those 2 questions I know for sure would always trip me up. So it's important that you try and think of answers to those type of questions before your actual interview. 4th most important tip. Not only do you want to talk about things that you've done for other companies, things that you've done throughout your career, education-wise, you want to talk about how that is going to benefit the company, or how is that going to benefit the school, or how is that going to benefit the organization. What you can contribute to them specifically, not just what you've done for other people, but what you can bring to them. It's really important that you specify specifically what you can do for a company. And in order to do that, you need to do research on the company or the school in order to better prepare yourself to answer those type of questions or to give those type of explanations. Tip number 5. I find this tip to be really important. the last thing you want to do before your interview is over, you want to make sure that you ask questions. You want to make sure that you look through the company's website, maybe even go through the LinkedIn and look at some of the employers, some of the managers, some of the people that you'll possibly be working with. And you want to draw up, usually I'd say 3 at the least, 3 to 5 questions that you want to ask the company about, their culture, some of their policies, the nature of their work, if you want to get a more clear understanding, because a lot of times job descriptions can be a little vague. So you definitely want to ask those questions, because when you're going to interview, not only is it important that the company makes sure you're a good fit for them, you also want to make sure they are a good fit for you. Because if you don't work out, you're not comfortable with the type of work environment they provide, then it won't last. And all that work of interviewing and applying will have gone to waste. So it's really important that you ask questions and get to know the company and the people that you'll be working with, because you want to make sure it's a good fit for you. And I know I keep saying company, but that is kind of where I came from. But the same applies to schools. I know with medical schools, they have multiple different types of interviews. There's MMI, there's panel interviews, things of that nature. And a lot of the questions are situation based. And again, when I prepared for my medical school interview, I just did a lot of reading to get an idea of a lot of the discrepancies surrounding practicing medicine. And by doing so, I was able to answer a lot of the questions that were thrown at me. I know that there are some examples online. So whether you're interviewing for a regular job, you're interviewing for a school, you definitely want to search for different questions that interviewers might ask, and you want to prepare an answer for those questions. I used to go into interviews thinking, okay, I know everything I need to know about myself. I can just think off of the fly, and then I want it to come out natural. But it's really important that you practice and that you rehearse for interviews. You want to do it so much that it does start to come out natural. It flows seamlessly. And so those are like the 5 most important tips that I think people tend to look over when preparing someone for an interview. Of course, you want to dress nice. Of course, you want to tell them thank you for their time. Things of that nature, I think, are talked about a lot more than the tips that I just mentioned. So take those tips, apply it to your next interview, apply it to your mock interviews, and see if it helps to improve your interview skills. Those skills have been able to take me from, like I said, being just a possible candidate to a new hire, and now to a medical student. And I've used those same tips for the past couple of years, and like I said, I've had positive feedback from them. Guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. It was pretty short and straight to the point, but I'm hoping that this information can really help you improve for any upcoming interviews that you might have. I know it's interview season for the medical students, and I know a lot of people are looking for new jobs after the pandemic. And so hopefully you can find something useful out of this video. If you like this video, make sure you hit the thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to my channel. And please comment. I love feedback. I love wanting to know more about what you want to hear. I want to post relevant content, and in order for me to do that, I want to know what you guys need to hear. So until next time, I guess that's it. Bye.